What if I told you your garden is working way too hard, and so are you? Most people think that a beautiful yard means endless work, pruning, watering, fertilizing, like you're running a science lab, but here's what nobody does tell you. Nature already knows what it's doing. You just need to stop getting in its way. Today, I'm revealing the smart gardener's secret to a stunning, low-maintenance yard that practically runs itself. No heating pad required at the end of the day. Stick around because in just a few minutes, you're going to rethink everything you thought you knew about gardening. Let's get things started by smashing that like button, subscribing, then sit back and enjoy. Well, now, let me teach you something they don't teach you in gardening books. The longer you garden, the less you want to work like you're training for the Olympics. And if you ever stood up from a flower bed and made that sound like an old screen door, you already know exactly what I'm talking about. Today, we're not talking about gardening harder. We're talking about gardening smarter, because the truth is, a great garden should nourish your inner peace, not wear out your joints. Somewhere along the way, folks got the idea that a beautiful yard means constant work, endless pruning, watering every day, fertilizing like you're running a science lab. That's not gardening. That's a full-time job. And here's the truth. Most people don't actually realize. Nature already knows what it's doing. You just need to stop getting in its way. The idea behind a low-maintenance yard isn't laziness. It's intelligence. It's about working with your environment instead of trying to wrestle it into submission. And believe me, your soil always wins that fight. So let's talk dirt, because that's where most people go wrong right out of the gate. They move into a new home, scoop up a handful of soil, and immediately decide, it's good enough, or maybe it's not good enough. So what do? You start dumping bags of this and bags of that, adjusting pH like they're back in chemistry class. Now, don't get me wrong, soil amendments have their place, but you're constantly trying to change your soil instead of understanding it. You're creating work for yourself that never ends. Instead, let's take a step back and ask, what actually wants to grow here? Plants are adapted to your region that have already solved the problems you're trying to fix. They handle your heat, they tolerate your rainfall or lack of it. They don't panic if you miss a watering. That's not luck, that's adaptation. And when your plants see those kinds of things, something amazing happens. Your workload drops dramatically. And that, my friends, is the first step toward a garden that behaves itself. If annual plants like house guests, perennials are family. They show up every year, whether you remember them or not. And once they're established, they require far less attention. Now, here's the trick. Don't just plant perennials. Plant the right perennials. Native or well-adapted varieties are your best friends here. They don't need babysitting. They don't need constant feeding, and they won't throw a fit during a heat wave. Think of them like a set in and forget it kind of gardening plan. Once you plant, you can enjoy them for years. That's not just convenience, that's strategy. Now, let's talk about something near and dear to my heart, your back, because bending over and pulling weeds, oh my goodness, that's a young person's hobby. Raised beds are one of the smartest things you can do, and it'll make it great for your garden. You don't need anything fancy. You could use cedar boards, corrugated metal. You could even repurpose materials if you're handy about it. The real benefits are not just how they look, it's how they work. You improve the drainage, you reduce weeds, and best of all, bring the garden up to you. No more crawling around like you dropped a contact lens in the dirt. You can stand, you can sit, you can actually enjoy the process again. And when gardening becomes comfortable, you're a lot more likely to keep doing it. If there's one thing I wish every gardener understood, it's this. Bare soil is an invitation, and weeds RSVP immediately. Nature doesn't empty space. They hate it. If you leave the soil exposed, it'll be filled, usually with something you don't want. There's mulch that comes into the activity over here. It's not only decorative, it's functional. It regulates moisture, it regulates temperature, it suppresses weeds, and Let's be honest, it makes everything look finished. Whether you use wood chips, bark, or even gravel, you're essentially putting a breathable lid on your living soil, and that lid keeps problems out. Less weeding, less watering, less frustration. So that's a win across the board. Here's something I've learned from years of being in the garden. The best garden isn't the one that looks perfect. It's the one you actually enjoy. Too many people design gardens for appearance instead of experience. They plant things that look good but demand constant care. They create layouts that are beautiful but impractical. And before long, the garden starts to feel like a chore instead of designed around for your space and how you live. Want to relax? Create sitting areas. Want fresh herbs? Keep them close to the kitchen. Want less work? Simplify everything, because at the end of the day, your garden should serve you, not the other way around. Let's be honest for a moment. The real benefit of a low maintenance garden isn't just less work, it's more time. Time to sit, time to enjoy, time to appreciate what you've built. Instead of spending your weekends battling weeds, you can actually experience your garden. Listen to the birds, watch the butterflies, sip something cold or hot, depending on your mood. That's the payoff, and it's worth designing for. If you've been gardening long enough, you start to realize something. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need the most exotic plants. You don't need the biggest yard. You don't need the most complicated setup. You need a garden that works. One that fits your life, one that respects your time, one that lets you enjoy the process instead of enduring it. So here's my advice. Keep it simple, keep it smart, and keep it enjoyable, because the best gardens aren't the ones that impress your neighbors. They're the ones that welcome you home. And if you can do all of that without needing a heating pad at the end of the day, well, now that's what I call master gardening.